So today we're making the Camp Mud specialty, which is fry bread with leeks. And I've already got my batter almost made up here. The main ingredient is flour. For a good big size loaf of fry bread, you're going to want to use about 3 cups of flour. You put in sugar and salt to taste. You don't really need sugar, but I always like to add a bit in. And then about 2 teaspoons of baking soda. And to that I've added up some chopped up wild leeks to the batter, and it's going to come out with a taste a lot like garlic bread. So now I'm adding the water to my fry bread, and it's about 1 cup of water to 3 cups of flour, but you want to add it nice and slow because you don't want to end up with too much water and then too much flour and you keep adding stuff. It just gets complicated. I'm mixing it with a stick right now, but eventually you're going to have to get your hands dirty and put them in there to mix it up. So you just keep adding the water until you get a nice stiff dough. A little trick I use is I spread a bit of flour on my hands first so the dough doesn't stick to them too badly. And then you're working the water into the dough. Just like making bannock, really. So the dough is all mixed up in the consistency that we want. It's just sort of sticking to itself, and it's time to make up our little fry bread bundles. Now, if you just want to do regular fry bread, you're going to press them out flat, and you can cook them like that. But we're really hungry here at Camp Mud, so we're going to add a little extra. So we got some hot dogs here that I've cut up into pieces about 1 inch in length, and some processed cheese. I like using real cheese, but we use what we have. So you got your flat piece of fry bread dough, take your hot dog, wrap it in cheese, and wrap the whole thing up. You want to wrap it so that none of the cheese and hot dog is sticking out. You want it completely covered in dough. Pinch it together, roll it around itself. If it's not sticking, you can use a little water to make it stick. And we're ready to cook.
So we've got oil to fry the fry bread with, but you don't really want to be dunking your hands in there to grab it, and it's kind of hard to just swig it out with a stick. So what I did was I took a red osier dogwood, carved it down, thinned it down about halfway, actually a little past halfway. Once you get past the pith, it's about good. And leaving the bark on, I left it by the fire until it was boiling hot. You could see the steam coming out and the sap boiling out of it. Then I bent it around this stick, tied it off, the bark started to pop off, so I just peeled it right off. And now that it's cooled down, if I take the string off, just a little surgeon's knot, which of course, since I got big stubby fingers, I gotta cut that. This is gonna basically pop apart as such. We've got tongs. Now I've got to just simply trim up the end. Just take my knife, peel the bark off. You can see how fast it comes off. And what I like to do is try to keep them even. And then the insides I flatten just a bit. Just they have a little bit better purchase on whatever we're grabbing. There we go. Tongs.
So now I've got Caleb's tongs, I've got my fry bread in the oil, and we are just letting it fry until it turns golden brown.